Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the weekly SMS, and very happy that there's a detailed discussion that we have taken through on incentives discount. And today would be the last session by Arpit Bhai on how 15 to be read and an interplay with our 17.5 reversal. So let's have an again elaborative discussion. Feel free to put your thoughts and words and let us start the session. Arpit bhai, over to you.
Thank you, Venuji. And good morning to all. To the last session on discounts and incentives, the discussion for discounts and incentives. So, till now, what we have discussed is the definition of consideration, section 15, subsection 1. Any amount given by the supplier to the recipient wherein there is an existing transaction. When can we treat any amount given by the supplier to the purchaser as a distinct transaction and how it has to be seen? Next, we have also discussed that irrespective of the mode of computation of the amount to be received, it is the nature which decides the taxability. And merely because I have referred something as a discount or merely because I have something referred as an incentive, it does not loses its character, and the character will decide the nature of the supply. So this is the brief that we have discussed till now. And starting with so the last point wherein we left in the last session was supposedly I had purchased some goods and I had earned points of say 200 to I've earned 200 points, but I had not redeemed those points. In the second time, I again purchased goods worth 5,000 rupees and I earned 200 points, but I did not redeem it. In the third time, when I purchased the goods for 10,000 rupees, I asked the seller to redeem those points. And supposedly for those points which I had earned earlier, I got a discount of say 500 rupees. So now on a purchase of 10,000 rupees, if I have got a discount of 500 rupees to redemption of the point which were earned earlier, whether the tax would be chargeable on the entire 10,000 rupees, and then after charging of tax, that 500 would be reduced, or the tax should be charged on 9,500 after deducting 500 from 10,000, and then the tax should be levied. So this was the last part where we left off, and this was relating to section 15.3a, wherein it said the value of supply shall not include any discount which is given before or at the time of supply if such discount has been duly recorded in the invoice issued in respect of such supply. So the part of the discussion was that the discount should be clearly related to the supply which is happening, and if the discount has been earned on a supply which was made earlier, then section 15.3b would come in play and section 15.3a would not be applicable. Therefore, in my opinion, the tax should be levied on entire 10,000 rupees, and then if at all reduction in tax has to be given, it has to be either through the issuance of the credit note, but it cannot be on the invoice. So this was the last discussion which we had happened, and briefly concluding this topic, if any other views are there, we can take it and then move on to today's topic, that is section 17.5h.
So anyone would want to contribute or add your point to this, please? Saying since it is given in the invoice, I think we should apply tax before that, or any of the views like that. Okay. I think Arpit bhai, I guess everyone are in line with your thoughts.
Okay. So now we will be discussing about section 17.5h, and we will be covering situation 7 to 9. The numbers are jumbled up because as also the discussion is also jumbled up. So section situation 7. A has started off a scheme wherein customers are allowed 2 foot mats free for every 2 foot mats purchased. So on every 2 foot mats purchased, 2 foot mats are given free. That is already, in my opinion, that is pretty clear. It is already covered by circular issued on 7th March, wherein they said that nothing is free and the entire value would be treated as supply for 4 foot mats. And if it is a opposite supply, then the tax rate of principal supply would be applicable. But if it is a mixed supply, then the highest rate would be applicable if the amount is not distinguished between the two separate supplies. So since these are for two for the same material of foot mats, 2 foot mats free for every 2 foot mats purchase. So whatever price is quoted would be treated as a price for 4 foot mats. Now, situation 9, it has been accidentally numbered as 9, it should be 8. A is voluntarily giving a Alto car free with every purchase of flat of rupees 5 crore. Now, a builder is giving a flat of, supposedly someone has gone to a builder, he has purchased a flat of 5 crore rupees. The builder is giving a Alto car free on every flat. Now, the question is that how the treatment of giving Alto car free has to be seen, whether ITC has to be reversed or it would be for Alto car, or it would be treated as being given along with the flat, and then what happens to the tax rate of the flat. So applying the same principle, the ITC would not have to be reversed because it is being given as part free with the flat. Now the question comes that giving Alto car free with a flat, whether it is a composite supply or a mixed supply. And if the builder has not given separate values for flat and car, if it is a mixed supply, then what would be the applicable tax rate? And if it is a composite supply, what would be the applicable tax rate? So any views from the members on this issue?
In any freebie, according to me, it can never be a mixed supply. Because they are not bundled and sold. No one is coming there for Alto car. It is not like if you buy Alto car, flat is free. It is if you buy flat, Alto car is free. Hence, it cannot be a mixed supply. It has to be treated as reversal of ITC because there are no two supplies. It's one supply, and another thing is disposal of an asset. So I am giving it away. So 17.5 should be attracted. If it is schedule 1, then it would become a mixed supply. In my view, when something is given up free, so it is not a supply and reversal of ITC.
But then we are going against what is the principle which has been laid down by the circular.
So
Circular
given that it
92
is
is
free,
wrong.
yes sir, please go ahead.
Circular 92 is wrong in my opinion. They cannot set the terms of what the recipient and the supplier wants.
Then there was one Bombay High Court judgment wherein they said that if one item is being given free along with another item, it is nothing but a sort of discount which would have been given on the invoice, and since a discount has not been given, something has been given along with that. So what the circular is saying that the option is there with the supplier to bifurcate the rate and then separately charge the tax if it is a mixed supply, or if it is a composite supply, charge the tax rate of the principal supply. So one view is there one view which is coming from Inuji and Uniji that the circular itself is wrong. And if something is being given free, then it would not be a part of supply, but it would be liable. It would be something on which the ITC would have to be reversed. Any other views?
So if there is a price difference where they say with Alto car is so much price, without Alto car is so much price, then is where we can say there is an inducement of supply and there is a value attributed, then we can say mixed supply.
in such situation, what Venugopalji, what happens that option is given to the purchaser that if he wants an Alto car, he can get the Alto car, and if he does not want an Alto car, a price reduction would be given. This is what happens when such scheme is given.
Correct. Then there is a mixed supply.
Then there is a
Mixed supply.
mixed supply. Okay.
Then the
Because
circular
generally
will be
it
applicable.
happens because if I am purchasing a flat and I already have a car, this is what generally happens and what I have seen. They offer a alternate to the customer that you can have a encashment or you can have a car, either ways.
So that's where circular 92 will be valid.
Okay. So in that case, it would be a mixed supply and the tax rate for car would be applicable to the entire sale value of
Yeah.
the flat.
Yeah, that is my view.
And whether the deduction for land would be available in that case. 1/3. Because that deduction of 1/3 land is coming from the rate notification when that particular
Correct.
entry
Agreed.
is made.
Agreed. So ideally, 1/3 deduction shouldn't also be there.
So then in that case, the value of land would also become taxable.
Correct. Though it is very
Any
small
other-
to think, but that's how it is.
See, in the mixed supply, first of all, tell me under which classification would you bring this supply to?
No, we would still classify
If
as
it's a mixed supply, then it would be falling within the classification of car.
No,
Yeah.
the section 8 says it will be taxed at the rate of car. It doesn't classify it into either of the same, unlike composite supply.
Let us see. Just wait a minute. Yes, section 8, which is saying the tax liability on composite of mixed supply shall be determined in the following manner, namely, a mixed supply comprising of 2 or more supply shall be treated as a supply of that particular supply which attracts the highest rate of tax. So it is not speaking about the rate applicable, it is saying that it would be treated as a supply
yeah.
of that particular
you
supply
say
which
that it is a
attracts the
supply of
highest
car.
rate of. So then it would
Yeah.
be treated as supply of car.
Hmm. Then that classification under 99, it will become treated as a class supply of goods and not a supply of services.
Correct.
So there is no question of land and 1/3.
Okay. It would become plan.
Correct.
So any other views from the participants?
No, I agree. 8B fails when the classification fails when there are both the products are under the same rate. Then classification fails.
Communication, what have you said? What you said?
No, I was wrong about 8B earlier. I was thinking
Okay.
of 8B failure when both the rates were same. Then classification. Here, since car and the flat having clearly 2 rates, then it's easy to classify. But if it was same rate, then classification would have failed.
Then classification would have failed because same HSN would have been there. But the nature of the supply would have been specified on the invoice.
But law is not clear on which to select, which to be selected.
Can we have one more thought here? Like this Alto car is given as free of cost. So can we say that it is not a consideration and accordingly we can levy on the flat? That one aspect can we look here?
That, ma'am, that was what Venugopalji said earlier. And therein we put in another situation wherein it is not that an option, generally an option is given in such cases wherein either the customer is said to opt for purchase of a car along with the flat, or he is given a cash discount in case he does not opt for purchase of the car?
Yeah, that is the terms of contract with the buyer
Yes.
to adjust that consideration. But I'm still not able to convince that it will be a sale of car and not sale of flat actually. I don't know. Because we have seen a lot of builders, they come out with this strategy, and they're still charging, considering as a construction service and not as a sale of car. So
Madam,
I'm
in
just,
that scenario, what you are
yeah,
saying is builder do not say that if you don't take a car, I will reduce. Then that becomes complicated. They'll say, I am giving you car free. At least on the paper, it would be ensuring saying that with car so much, without car so much will not be an official document.
yeah. Then you're saying that that's a risky approach in case if they come out with a condition,
Correct.
right?
Yes. Then,
Yeah.
then that means they have put a value for the car also, and but then they have bundled it.
Okay. I was looking as a marketing strategy, but I think with this condition, it will create it as a mix-up, right? Right?
Yeah, you market it unconditionally, you will be given an alto free.
Okay.
Then circular 92 will not be applicable, is my
Okay.
view.
Got it. Okay. Got it.
Then again, what Venugopal ji said,
Arpit Bhaiya, just to make a point that whether identification or having value, does that
Kash, either my connection is weak or your internet connection is weak. Somewhere
Hello?
your voice is breaking.
Hello?
Their voice is breaking. Firstly, I
Yes.
would want you to please rename. It is showing as iPhone. I don't know who is this.
Akash Thofile this side. Actually, I have
Hi,
joined from my
Akash.
phone, so name is not displaying there.
No problem, no problem. Your voice is little feeble. Go ahead.
Yes. Now audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, what I want to say is that simply having value of car, mechanism to identify a value of car, does that mean there is a supply of car also? Because GST has to be on supply. So simply if we say that builder is saying that instead of car, I am ready to give you a certain amount of consideration, simply is valuing that particular car, does that mean there is supply also?
Isn't it so? If the scheme document itself is published as with car, without car, that means there is a value for the car.
Akash, how
Hello?
I can summarize?
There is
Akash,
a
how
value for the car, I agree. But does that mean it is supply?
if car is being supplied, car is being supplied. Like, see how I see this, that if a flat is car is being given along with the flat and a combined price is being charged. So at the outset, circular would be applicable. The department would be contesting that since the circular is applicable, it is a supply of two things. Although the view coming from the group is that since the car is not being directly attached or no value is being attached to the car, therefore 17.5H would be applicable. But in case an amount has been attached to the car, that means out of the amount which is being charged, a certain amount is being allotted to the car, that this is the amount of consideration to the car, that if you take it, we will charge it. If you do not take it, we will reduce it from the price of the flat.
Yeah, Arpit, one more point is there.
Hmm.
Whether we can say that when the car is being given, why section 17.5H comes into picture and how?
If then it becomes a very thin line. So let's take an example that whenever we purchase a car, generally the car showroom person gives us a gift bouquet with Ganeshji and the sweets. Now in that case, this is being given voluntarily, and
No,
it is
no,
not being charged.
my point is when the section 17.5 itself says that the credit of vehicles will not be allowed, barring the reasons mentioned therein. Then the point of reversal, that is what I failed to catch. Tell me something if I'm missing on.
No, the first point is that whether we are giving, whether we are treating it as a supply along with the flat. If it is a supply, then the credit would be applicable. But if we are not treating it as supply, why we are not treating it as supply? Well, then it
See, the builder is not selling or engaged
has
in
to
the
be that
business
it
of,
is being treated as a gift being given.
no, the
But
reversal matter. Yeah, go ahead.
see, in my opinion, section 17(5)(h) first have to be seen, because either it would be a gift or it would be a supply. Once it is a supply, then it is being sold. Once or it is a gift, then section 17(5)(h) would first come into play, then 17(5)(a) would come into play. Because if I am not able to prove that it is a gift, then it would automatically fall within the clutches of supply.
No, even if in that case, where the question of availment of ITC or eligibility of ITC comes when 17(5)(a) itself says that the credit of vehicles will not be allowed barring these 3-4 conditions.
So he would be fitting into the first condition, no, sir. So he is eligible if he is becoming a dealer of a car. Why
No,
would
no,
he
no,
not
no.
give?
Merely by giving the car along with the flat, it does not tantamount to be a dealer of car. That is what
No,
my
no.
But
point is.
Will it
17(5)(a)
be a
is not.
supply? Will it not be a supply?
That's another question of discussion. But
Yeah,
at the
that's
very
another
first
question.
point,
If it is a supply, that is what the other question we are discussing.
yeah.
Assuming if that is a supply,
Mm.
would then 17(5)(a) come into picture?
No, in that case, it will not.
It will not
When
be,
you are,
right. So
yeah.
exactly. So in that case, it would not be coming into the picture.
And if it is not a supply, then by virtue of 17(5)(h), it would be first it has to be treated as a gift.
Actually, Arpit, I don't have the book in my hand right now. Can you read out 17(5)(a), the first two lines of that?
Section 17(5)(a), yes.
Arpit bhai, it's 9:20.
reading.
I want you to
I'm just reading.
take control of whatever is the time you can do.
This is coming to an end. 17(5)(a) says that notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1 or 16(1) or 18(1), motor vehicle for the credit shall not be available for motor vehicles for transportation of person having approved capacity not more than 13 persons, except when they are used for making the following taxable supplies, namely further supply of such motor vehicles.
So you are treating it as a further supply of motor vehicle, right?
Correct, sir. Because these
Okay.
are not used cars. These are the car purchased and sold.
Although I'm not very much sure about it, but let's go ahead. Okay.
Yes. Let's go ahead. Now coming to section 17(5)(h). First, I would be referring to section 17(5)(h), because we cannot separate section 17(5)(h) from discounts and incentives, because it is section 17(5) is nothing but a sort of discount or incentive which has been given. So H says goods lost, stolen, destroyed, written off, or disposed by way of gift of free samples. Now the question is, the terminology of disposed of by way of gift of free samples, that is section 17(5)(h). And if we go through schedule 1 para 1, schedule 1 para 1, it says permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where input tax credit has been availed on such assets. So supposedly, if I am giving something by way of gift, section 17(5)(h) says that ITC cannot be taken. And at the same time, schedule 1 says that where permanent transfer disposal of business assets take place without consideration, it would be treated as deemed supply where ITC has been availed. So there are two competing provisions, 17(5)(h) and schedule 1 para 1. wherein first it says that if ITC cannot be taken on something for which wherein it has been given without consideration, how can schedule 1 para 1 can be made applicable? So this is the first part of discussion, which in my view, it has to be seen because both have to be read harmoniously, and it cannot be made that one part can be made redundant.
So para 2
Supposedly,
will
I
also
have
complete
purchased
if
one
it doesn't
computer.
apply to an employee greater than 50,000, right?
Yes. Para 2, proviso to para 2. So, in my opinion, what is my understanding, then I would be asking the group members also to share their views. Supposedly, I purchased a computer. At that time, I had an intent to use it in my business. So, I availed the credit. Then, 6 months down the line, I gifted it to some person. Now, in this case, since ITC has been taken and the transaction has been made without consideration subsequently after 6 months, wherein ITC was already availed. So, in this case, Schedule 1, Para 1 should be made applicable because ITC has been already availed, and gift is something which has been made subsequent to, and there was a change of intent in giving the goods. Secondly, I have purchased a computer, and at that time, I know that I would be giving. So, at that point of time only, I do not avail the credit. And since I have not availed the credit by way of section 17(5)(h), therefore schedule 1 para 1 would not be applicable in such cases. This is how I interpret section 17(5)(h) and schedule 1 para 1 harmoniously. Now the group members can share their views also.
How do we differentiate this business asset with this inputs used in this course of business? Like, how we differentiate? Sir? Because once
In my
you're using in
opinion,
the business, then you're calling it as a business asset, sir?
any asset which has been used in business, because it has not been defined anywhere. This is a very loose term which has been used. So any asset which has been used in business and on which ITC has been availed on such assets. So on such asset, something which can be seen or recognized. So it would not be covering services, but it would only be covering goods. This is a broad understanding of this term, business asset.
Okay.
Now coming to the second part of section 17(5)(h). It starts with the term goods. So goods lost, stolen, destroyed, written off, or disposed by way of gift. So, or to cut short, we can say goods disposed of by way of gift. So supposedly, being a chartered accountant, we give many services for free, many a times. And in those services, the goods are consumed while providing the service. I am not saying that we transfer it for consideration, but goods are consumed while providing those services. So this 17(5)(h) is applicable only wherein the goods are disposed by way of gift. So can we say that wherein the services are being given free of cost and there is no specific restriction in the statute for non-availment of ITC in those cases? So I am eligible to claim ITC because even if I am not charging any consideration and since there is no specific disallowance of that part, I am eligible to claim the entire ITC.
Do you want to say that whatever you are giving for free is a gift?
I am restricting this is the next part which I want to take.
Okay.
Presently, I am restricting it to 17(5) only being made applicable to goods. So it is not applicable to services. So in case of service, if some services are being given free of cost, am I eligible to claim the ITC because there is no specific restriction on that in the statute? Supposedly, I am running a YouTube channel and that YouTube channel is free of cost. I avail services of developers wherein I am paying GST to them, amount to them on which they are charging GST. But since there is no revenue coming from YouTube, because I am uploading all the videos for free and there is no specific restriction on denial of ITC in such cases. Am I eligible to claim the entire ITC on such services being provided by way of videos uploaded for free on YouTube?
Yes, in my view.
My opinion is also yes. Now, opinion of any other group members?
Sir, we can take ITC, sir, in such a situation also, because that goods should be disposed.
Yes.
But here goods is used. So in my opinion, we can claim ITC, sir. This is my view, sir.
So can we conclude that yes, services being given free of cost, I am eligible to claim the ITC. Now coming to the situation 8, which has been given in my example. A has started off.
Sorry to disturb. So here, when they use the word goods, should the goods be as such, or maybe we'll take it up when the ITC session comes?
Yes, we will take it when the ITC part is clear.
ITC, yeah.
Now, situation 8. A has started off a scheme wherein customers are given a Mercedes car in lucky draw out of purchase of flat of rupees 5 crore rupees. Now the question is whether ITC of this Mercedes car would be available because it is being given in a lucky draw, wherein the lucky draw would be for all the purchasers who have purchased the flat. Now, if we go to section 17(5)(h), it says goods disposed of by way of gift. In my opinion, there can be 3 situations, 3 categories wherein a transaction, any amount paid or anything given has to be classified. One, it is a consideration to the contract, wherein I am supplying something and I am receiving something. For that, I am receiving something. When something is given in consideration of a contract, that is a supply. Second is something which is given as a condition to the contract. And the third is something which is given by way of without any condition or consideration, clause of condition or consideration being present in the contract. This is how I see a contract. First is a consideration to the contract. Second, a condition to the contract. And the third, something which is given without any consideration of condition clause being mentioned in the contract. So, first situation, it is supply, section 7(1). Second situation, something given as a condition to the contract. In my opinion, something which is being given as a condition because I have committed that I will give. Now I cannot go back on my promise. This is commitment being given as a condition to the contract that whoever purchases a flat, they would be eligible for the lucky draw and a Mercedes car would be given. I'm referring to Mercedes car without referring to section 17(5)(a). Purely from the considering that ITC is eligible on this. So there would be a lucky draw for all the flat purchasers. Therein, a Mercedes car would be given. So this becomes a condition to the contract of all the flat purchasers. Now, if I would not be giving this car, I would be infringing the terms of the contract. Thereby, I would be liable to pay the damages. So when I give a lucky draw condition to a purchase of flat, it no longer retains the characteristic of a gift. It becomes a condition to the contract. And if I would not be giving, the buyer would be claiming, or the buyer has the right to enforce the compliance of that condition. The third part is something given without the clause of condition or consideration being present in the contract. Now take an example that there is a marathon taking place in the city. one of the persons from a business goes there and stands there that and has 100 t-shirts with him, and whoever comes, he gives t-shirt. So first 100 participants are given the t-shirt. He's not committing himself, he's just going there and voluntarily giving it. Second is that he becomes a sponsor to the event and says the first 100 participants would be given the t-shirt. Now in this case, he is committing himself that he would be giving those t-shirts. Now this becomes a condition. What is the difference between the first condition and second? In the first there was no legal commitment. In the second, there is a commitment that I would be giving t-shirts to first 100 participants. This becomes a condition to the contract. So this is how I see section 17(5)(h). Something as a consideration to the contract, something as a condition to the contract, and something which is neither present in the clause of condition or nor in a clause of consideration. The third part is something which is covered by section 17(5)(h). The first part is consideration. The second part is eligible for ITC in the course of furtherance of business by 16(1) and 18(1). The third is covered under clutches of section 17(5)(h). And if we go through the situation number 8, wherein a Mercedes car is being given in lucky draw out of purchasers for flat of 5 crore rupees, in my opinion, this is something which is being given as a condition to the contract. So ITC would be eligible. I am not going into 17(5)(a) for this matter. This is my view of the understanding of the situation. The situation is open for the members to give their views.
I would also like to add a point here is when we are placing a condition to a contract. So we are agreeing ourselves to spend that money, which is otherwise to be treated as a sales and marketing promotion. Now, which is purely for a business activity, which is leading for more business. I think 17(5)(h) should not be made applicable there, and ITC should be eligible.
Any other views from the members?
I guess all are in sync.
Okay. So section 17(5)(h), when it uses the term gift, what we have discussed that it should not be a condition to the contract. If it is a condition to the contract, in that case, ITC would be available. Now let's take an example that I have given, I have purchased some diaries to be given on Diwali. Now in that case, one situation is that I give those diaries as a gift to all the customers without any logo being printed on those diaries. Second is that I give gift or those diaries to my customers with the logo of my business being printed on those diaries. So in that case, how do we see section 17(5)(h) in these two situations? In my opinion, first giving my opinion, wherein no logo has been printed and just the diary has been distributed, in that case, it would be in my opinion, my 17(5)(h) would be applicable because it is something being given voluntarily. And if the logo has been printed on the diaries, then it becomes a promotional item, advertisement item, because I am promoting my name of my business. So in that case, section 17(5)(h) should not be applicable because it is a sales promotion item. And ITC should be available in such cases. So views from the members?
Anyone? Definitely, it's a risky proposition, but it's something one has to ponder upon.
There is one AAA judgment on this case wherein there was a divergent opinion between the central member of AAA and the state member from AAA. And I'm not remembering the name of that Sino gift or something. It was the name of the case, wherein the central member who happened to be Sangeeta Sharma, she was assistant member, I guess, previously. So she had an opinion that ITC in such cases wherein the logo has been printed should be available, but the state member did not was not convinced with the opinion in that case. So
Got it.
let's take another.
In fact,
Yes.
what I feel is that ITC should be available in both the cases. Simply, a printing of logo will give one step addition in favor of ITC. But in any case, in both the situations, it is sales promotional activity only. So this is my view.
So then how 17.5H we would be distinguishing it as a gift.
Yes.
Supposedly I'm not displaying the logo. So how can I distinguish between the two cases wherein I am giving the diary, why the department should not treat it as a gift? Because I am giving to any person who is coming without any condition, without any promotion.
See, in this case, the burden has been shifted on the department to prove that it is a gift. So it is not my
But
take to
burden is not, burden is on
because
the assessee to prove.
to prove that it is a gift, it is on us or in the department, no?
No, sections 155 would come into play.
I am claiming ITC on the basis of my documentation. Other thing, I am saying that it is my sales and promotional item. But department is saying no, it is a gift. So it will be proven. It has to be the onus has been shifted to the department to say that it is a gift and not sales promotional item.
Akash,
Yes.
isn't it anything done by the business is for business?
Yes.
So if that being the case, any gift given would also be for business. They say that I have done this to get more business, sales promotion, business promotion. So that way then 17.5H would be redundant, no?
See, whether it be redundant or not, that has to be seen. But as you said that any gift given in the business is for business, I will differentiate that any action and gift has to be differentiated. Because you have said that any gift given in the business is business. I will not concur to that view. But somehow there is a thin line of difference that needs to be figured out. But in this case, which has been given by Arpit Vyas, I feel
See,
that
I am keeping CSR aside. Okay. CSR is anyhow specifically covered. So anything done beyond CSR, now every business would argue saying that I have done it to promote my business.
well, that can be argued, but CSR activity, I think it is a compulsory statutory activity which one has to discharge.
That is what I'm saying. We will put CSR aside. We will not bring that. Then it will be more skewed.
Right. So what do you want to say?
Whether
One
business expenditure will
interesting-
be allowed.
There was one interesting argument in one of the cases wherein they said that whatever we are giving as a gift, that amount has been factored into the consideration being charged on the sale of the goods. So we are not giving it as a gift.
Correct.
This was one of the arguments in AA decision which I read.
In fact, I think this
Arpitji,
argument has been
whether
taken in many cases in excise regime also, if I'm not wrong. That whatever the SSC is giving free of cost, he is already charging that value from on the sale of their product. So it is a part of its cost only. This argument has been taken in many of the cases in excise regime also, although I don't remember the name of the case right now.
But then the recipient of the gifts are not identified, and 17.5H has to be read in a manner it is harmonious in treatment and cannot be made redundant. So somewhere down the line, yes, everything which is being incurred in the business is being charged. Nothing is for free. But the activity of giving goods by way of gift, that the recipient is not expecting from you that you would be giving, but you are giving it, giving him without any expectation, that something, in my opinion, comes in as a gift. Now, how far this?
In your example, if we modify a situation that the diaries which you are saying, which has been given to the persons, now let's make it like that, that the business person is giving these diaries to the persons who are directly related to its business only, without printing of logo. And he, in another situation, he is giving all those diaries to people in general, immaterial whether they will be their prospective customer or not, or business like that, that जहाँ पे common person is not their prospective customer, but they are giving diary with the logo. Now in that case, won't it be counted as gift?
Akash, in the two situations, in my opinion, the first part wherein the no logo is there, it cannot be said to something to be promoted as a brand promotion activity. But anything which on which the logo has been printed, it can be said to be a brand promotion activity, just like a hoarding is being put at the roads or a pamphlet is being given or being pasted something. So whenever a diary is being given and it is being kept on say a table and the name is there, so anyone who would be coming would be seeing. But in the case of no logo being printed, then the line of the differentiation between a gift and something in the course of furtherance of business of for which consideration has been charged becomes a very thin line. And then
Actually,
the intent for which the section 17(5)(h) has been inserted, that would be seen.
I agree to that. I just want to know one thing, that the person to whom these things are distributed, won't that matter किसको हमने distribute किया है?
I am not duty bound either to give the diaries to my affiliates or to any person.
And if I am giving it to my affiliates without my logo, then
Yes, they are not expecting. Supposedly tomorrow I would not be given on next Diwali. They cannot ask. They cannot come and say that why you are not given it.
that is
And
a
at the
different
same
thing.
time, I cannot say that these are promotional items, because nowhere other than the person who has received it would be observing it, or my product would be promoted. So yes, this is something. See, all these situations are what the intent is to get the views from the members who are attending this. And yes, there are two views possible, and we are not concluding it. We are only getting thoughts. So sometime stuck. I might take your view also, because at the time of litigation, any view is possible. So concluding this issue with two views possible. One is given by Akash, and second, which was discussed earlier, that how that term gift has to be seen. Now coming to the last situation for today.
Arpit sir, just one
Yes.
point here. I was reading one of the AR where they have that the Tamil Nadu triple AR in the case of GRB Dairy Foods, they have said that no ITC on gifts to retailers for personal consumption for sales promotion. So can we read that if something is given for their personal consumption, then for the sales promotion, so they have linked here with the personal consumption of the recipient also. Like if you are given a diary without any, like it's for their personal purpose, or is it for the purpose of promoting the sales? So that way also we can link. I think
Ma'am, in my opinion, I have read some of the decisions wherein they have
Yeah.
linked the eligibility with the nature of consumption of the recipient.
Yes.
But
that
in my
one-
opinion, the nature of consumption of the recipient cannot decide that what is my
Correct.
business expenditure. That is some incorrect relation
Yeah.
which has been made by the AAR in many
Yes.
of the cases.
Yes. So that
So
is
the next situation on which I was coming was similar to this also. That
Okay.
supposedly I am a business, and for the retailers who are there in my business, I start a scheme that whoever would be achieving the target, they would be getting a trip free, say, to Singapore.
Okay.
Now, in this case, whether ITC would be available to the business for whichever, supposedly one of the dealers achieves the target, and as a business, I incur the expenditure because I have given the scheme, and he goes to Singapore and comes back with the family. And this is a trip of 5 days. So now I have made all the expenditure, whether I would be eligible for the ITC on such schemes. Double AR, triple AR have negative this content,
Yeah,
and the primary reason was one which you had given, that this was for personal consumption of the recipient. In my
Yeah.
opinion, that linkage is irrelevant, because how I have incurred, I did not incurred it with for my personal consumption. For that, section 17.5G has to be seen vis-a-vis with respect to me, not with respect to the recipient.
Okay.
So in that case, when I am giving a trip free to Singapore to the dealers who have achieved the target, whether it would be allowed as a gift, whether the ITC would be allowed.
Arpit ji, I think there are number of tribunal judgments which say that if I am giving something as a gift to my business associates, so it should be allowed as an expenditure to me under income tax law.
Yes, income tax, it is allowed, because there is no such condition on section 17.5H. So the first thing I would missed out was whether at all in this case section 17.5H would be applicable. In this case, that is a trip to Singapore to the person who has achieved the target.
But what does
Whether
And
at all-
keeping
there
that
is-
goods and services distinction
Yes,
aside.
yes.
But what does this? There is a Supreme Court decision in case of Sonia Jain. Because I think that says that it should be a completely voluntary activity. There should be no business consideration or something to be constituted as a gift.
So there are two situations. First, whether at all section 17.5H would be applicable because it is saying goods. And second, whether at all it can be said to be a gift or it is a condition to the contract. Because whenever I am giving something as a gift, the recipient cannot enforce its obligation, enforce its compliance. It is something which is being given by a natural gift, like the example which we took for t-shirt. Supposedly, I have come with say 100 t-shirts and I give 100 t-shirts. I have not publicized it. Now, supposedly if 100 first person comes, he cannot force me that you have given t-shirt to 100 persons, so give it to me also, because it is coming from free will and accord. So whenever I am giving a trip to Singapore to the dealer who has achieved the target, there are two questions which have to be seen, whether at all this is section 17.5H because it says goods, and in case we treat that on achievement of target, goods would be given. So second, whether it is a gift or it is a condition to the contract.
So what stand you will take for pharmacy companies? They distribute gifts to the doctors.
See again,
Whether,
sir, that we had discussed in the earlier example, that whether I am giving the gifts with the logo. If I am giving the gifts with the logo, then I would argue it that these are not gifts, these are promotional items being given.
promotional.
These promotional items could have been placed on the hoarding. These promotional items could have been placed in the mall. These promotional items could have been placed on the table of the doctor.
Correct. I think where the recipient is going to use it personally, then I think that could be a issue. No?
See, I think the core recipient is something we should seriously consider. Should it at all we think of?
In my opinion, no.
Yeah, even of the view, 100% no. It is at our end as a business what they do, and if the core recipient theory is taken, then every person who is selling dosa, then they will say personal consumption.
Yes. And if we treat personal consumption from the perspective of the recipient, then the taxable person is free to take ITC of everything, because then we would be treating it as for recipient, not for taxable person. But all in all, that linkage is irrelevant to me. It is not the correct interpretation, because if that would have been the case, then 17.5G would have clearly provided it. So any views from the recipients, members? It is 9:59. So we would have to conclude, and I would be handing session back to Venugopalji.
I was just about to send a reminder. Thank you.
Let's conclude the scenario. In my opinion, what is my opinion? That for free given to a trip given for Singapore, section 17.5H would not be applicable because it is of services nature. Secondly, even if the goods would have been given as a condition for achieving the target, then also, in my opinion, it becomes a condition to the contract. It is no longer a gift once an open scheme has been floated. Therefore, section 17.5H would not be applicable even if it is given in the form of goods and not in the form of services. So handing over session back to Venuji. It's 10, exact 10.
Thank you, Arpitji. And firstly, even though these are smaller provisions, every time the Saturday morning session is a new insight, and I make sure whenever possible I will be there. Just that, like today, Arupji is in one other session, so I would only request members that as far as possible, tell our group friends to be part of the Saturday morning session, and definitely it is intuitive. And special thanks to Arpitji for continuing this discussion on section 15 and the interrelated provisions. With this, we have completed all the provisions on valuation. So from next week, we will be looking at the new section and the new speaker. So thank you, Arpit. Yeah.
We request
Yes,
the
yes,
members to come forward and be a part of the be a part as a speaker to the sessions, because see, everybody is knowing the basics of the provision. What we need is a leader to start the discussion and throw open the questions, because we would not be concluding anything because nothing is settled. We are only getting the views from the members that what are the possible alternative views on a particular subject.
Yeah. Very true.
So thank you all.
Okay.
And
Thank
see
you.
you in the next session.
Next session. Yes, yes. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.